Okay, so when they blame you for their bad behavior, when this happens, this tells you a lot about that person. First off, it's telling you that they don't take responsibility for their own actions. Okay? Because we are autonomous human beings, and it doesn't matter what somebody else is doing, we make the choice of our behavior, how we react or respond. So if they blame you for their bad behavior, there's a few things going on. They don't take responsibility for their actions. That means they believe they are victim to you. That's a victim. That also means that they give you all of their power. Do you see that? They just gave you all of their power. Conversely, this is how I operate now, but there was a time when I really lived from ego. My wounded ego is what was driving my life. So I don't know that I blamed others. I was really hard on myself. Sometimes people react outwardly with ego, and some people are even harder on themselves. That was more of what I was. But who I am now is I don't blame anyone else for my behavior. I take full responsibility for my behavior. And in this manner, I keep my power. It's kind of like the buck stops with me. A great example of this was when my son was a teen, that younger teen, where they're just kind of impossible. And he would literally drive me to that point, that edge where I would kind of lose it and raise my voice. I hated it when I raised my voice. Now I realized I could say to my son, "You caused me to raise my voice," but I knew that was incorrect. I wanted him to learn taking responsibility. So I would say to him is, "I am sorry for raising my voice. That is my choice. I chose to do that. I do not like that about myself. It's something I'm working on. At the same time, your behavior was so upsetting to me. That is what I chose to do in my reaction, and I'm working on it. But let's talk about your behavior, come up with a plan for that, and mine, where I can learn more self-control so that I don't raise my voice." That's what that looks like. I knew I did not want to blame him for me raising my voice. That's on me. That's my self-control issue. So it was really integral to teach him that, to model that to him. Now, I want to talk about this blaming in the context of, let's say, alcoholism. Let's say someone who drinks a lot or some sort of addiction. But let's say there's a dependence on an outside source like alcohol or drugs of some sort. I'm going to stick with alcohol because it's very common for the person who has a dependence to blame others because for their bad behavior when they're on the substance. And again, I'm going to kind of talk with alcohol because I know a lot of people that have a partner that drinks more than they're comfortable with. And this is what happens. They will be in some sort of, well, typically what's happening is the person who's not drinking or the person who doesn't have the dependency expresses concern over their behavior. Maybe they're about to get in their car. Maybe they are in the car, they're not driving, and they're just not reasonable. So this is true. If you have alcohol in your system, your normal faculties are numbed, and so you're not behaving definitely out of your higher self. And I do notice, again, from the stories I hear and my own personal experiences from my past with people who drink too much, they're dependent upon this substance, so they will protect it. They don't want to change, or they don't see that they can change. And so it's part of their life. And let me tell you, they will protect that. They will hold it close. So if you expressing a legit concern, they will use all kinds of tactics to turn it around and make you wrong. That's called manipulation. Looks a lot like narcissism. So it's a narcissistic behavior. I'm not saying the person is a full-on narcissist. But let me tell you, if you're dealing with someone who has a dependency, you're going to see narcissistic behavior. 100%. Because they're going to protect that addiction. It's their comfort. It's their soothing agent. It numbs them out from their own wounds that they are too scared to look at. So we can have compassion for that person because that's exactly what they're doing. But at the same time, it's healthy for the person who's not in the dependency and is noticing a bad behavior that's about to happen, or, just an unhealthy behavior. And sometimes that unhealthy behavior is directed right at the person who's showing the concern. You really know where that person's at if they turn around and blame you and make you wrong. Will you drive me to drink? And it becomes this vicious cycle because in their mind, they really do believe that you are participating in why they have to drink because of your concern for their behavior while they're drinking. It gets crazy. It's even hard for me to even describe it, but it's literally, that's what's happening when you're dealing with someone who has a dependency. You almost want to, hit your head against the wall. And that's what I say about, when you're dealing with a full-on narcissist, it's like impossible because they're so protective of that addiction. They can't change the story as to why they drink, because if they do, they would have to adjust their behavior. They don't want to, or they're not ready to, or whatever their reason is. And so just know, if you're out there and you're the one who has the dependency, I hope you hear this message. If you're out there and you're dealing with someone or you're in relationship with someone who has a dependency, this is what's going on. They have a victim mentality. They do not want to take personal responsibility. And they're giving their power to you. And none of that feels good. It doesn't feel good to be around someone who's not standing in their own power and taking personal responsibility for their own actions and behavior. No one forces us to do anything. We are autonomous that way. Yeah. Let's just breathe that in for a second. Let's just breathe in how it would feel to take personal responsibility for all of your behaviors and actions and what you say. How would it feel to have self-control? How would it feel to stay in your own power? Not give it away to anybody? How would that feel? I'll give you a little hint. It feels great. It feels really great over here. It feels great to be in your own power. It really does. And I hope that for you. Keep listening. If this intrigued you, check out my stuff. I've got all kinds of stuff that you can link to in the description. And I'm really blessed by your presence. I hope this helped you out in some way. Until next time.